Hello everyone, welcome to Life Modern Reality, and this is going to be our first episode in Education Talks. And today what I'll be doing is I'll be sharing with you some practical steps that some of my students have used in producing exceptional results, and I'll be sharing it right here on this podcast. Now, this is from one of my students. I'm not going to call names. It's one of my students. She was written her IGCSEs, and she took 12 subjects, right? And she had 11 A stars and 1 A. And here's some of the things she said, right? She said one of the things she did. She said, I would organize everything in Notion. And Notion is like a free software that helps you to be able to organize your files, your tasks, your studies materials into separate folders. Right? It had, to her, it was a database where she was able to view, page them, make colors to them, and it's really a lovely design. Okay. And she found this software Notion at the end of towards the close of when she was writing her exam. Okay. And it made everything a whole lot easier and organized for her. And she said, I owe my grades to this app. It's legend. And of course, for those who are wondering, I'll probably just send a link in the show notes so you can actually see it. She said, I would not waste time making notes in class. One of the things she said, she's not going to waste time making notes in class, and this was the reason why. She said, I would write down every single thing the teacher said and would not pay attention to concept and was blank when I read them later. So what she did, because she was not really paying much attention, what she did was she took down the notes the teacher was trying to say, and she was able to print out the syllabus. Okay, for most of you may not even know the syllabus for your subject. And you should really do that. So print out the syllabus for your subject and open the pages related to the topic. Okay, you're doing so. You look at the syllabus point, you pay attention to the teacher when they say something related to the point. Also, if you want to make notes, only write down keywords when the teacher addresses those points. You can also write down subheadings or learning objective on your page, leaving some space, and write bullets underneath the headings. There are many free things online. You don't need to buy everything or pay for everything. Okay. There are materials you can actually get online, and of course, with the help of your teachers and everything, topical questions, you can actually print them. Ask in class, right? Ask questions in class. No one cares if it's a dumb question. Maybe the teacher would even appreciate your question. And notice your class participation. And if you're confused, ask there and then. You will not regret doing it later. If your teachers are good and and of course you have YouTube, then you don't have to waste a whole lot of money on tuition. Now, the whole idea of the private tuition is for students who are having challenges with the concept. Maybe students who are homeschooled or probably don't really understand it when teacher is teaching in class. That is where Ajiro Tech tutoring service come in handy. So you don't have to, because it's a private tuition, you just want to pay for it. No, you're only paying for it because it's something I need to get at the end of the day. And hey, we have a track record of producing exceptional results. Okay, so again, do not go there randomly just because you need prep. There are many teachers on YouTube who are actually doing it for free. I'm also doing some materials for free. Okay, we also have some combo plans on our materials. You can actually get them, and that would help you. The next one she talked about was teach. I wish I knew this earlier. Literally, the Feynman technique is so helpful. It's basically where you explain a concept to a friend or anyone until they understand it very well. So this is one thing I will always advise students. when you understand something, try to explain it to your friends, because by explaining to your friends, trust me, you also understand it as well. So if you understand it, then your understanding will be 10 times more. Okay, I did this for she did it for math, she did it for physics, she did it for chemistry, and honestly, the syllabus was on her fingertips. And if you don't have anyone to teach, you could go online, you could use ChatGPT as a student, or you could just pick up a stuffed toy and you could actually talk to the toy. That was her own idea and it worked for her. She talked about using textbooks. Okay, they are Cambridge endorsed and are tailored to syllabus with questions. Examples and diagrams use only Cambridge University Press or holders. So again, she's advising for you to use the only textbooks recommended by Cambridge, as they are the most accurate and well phrased. Plus, designs are great. You can use PDFs or hard copies. Okay. Here's from another student. He said, please do not even think of trying to keep everything last minute like me. It's a pure struggle and A-star chances are very slim. So do not wait for the last minute for you to get serious. If you're grade 11, it's a time for you to get serious. If you're grade 10, it's a time for you to get serious. Okay, so and he said, I'm sending this to Ajiro so that all students that hope would never be lost, even still the last minute, and never feel low even in the darkest time. And he's about to share his story. He was always an A student. He was always an A student, at least till year 7. In year 8, he wanted to become a cool kid at school. So he made bad friends and his grade dropped. He corrected himself in year 9 and became better, but he had some issues and there was no way he could proceed. In year 10, his first year of IGCSE, he took some online classes and he had no motivation to study. He was always used to open either, since he was doing online, he would open up YouTube or Minecraft or just wasting time. He always found himself good at physics, math, chemistry, and of course ICT, as he could grab them very fast. Then be more application-based subject. His struggles were in biology, economics, and business studies, and just cheated through some of the tests and exam, and he never made note in class. Year 10 finally took place, and he cheated through most of it because most of his year 10 was online. He cheated through most of it. His whole year combined result came out to be 4 A's, low A, 80s in physics, chemistry, and ICT, and math, 1 B in biology. Cheating got him through. Really, 1 C in economics and another B in business by again cheating. I got a D in English. I did not pay attention in class and thought it was easy. I got a B in English, a second language, even though I knew it before. And he had a B in environmental management. He cheated almost everything. He had an amazing teacher, but he did not pay attention. Year 11, he wanted things to change because again in IGCSE you cannot cheat your way through it. He wanted this to change. He practiced the math over the summer. He became quite good at it. School started and he was scared, as IGCSE was just a year away and knew nothing. Like, he knew absolutely nothing. Series of online classes was organized and he just continued to waste time again. And this is one of the issues with online classes, because again, while the student is online, he or she can be on YouTube, Minecraft, and this is one of your former classmates who is literally doing some of the things most of you are doing now. He wasn't focused and this continued, and in June he dropped economics and business because of lack of interest. He was still taking the higher numbers of subjects in the whole school, which is 9, I felt low and thought all hope was lost until mid-August. Offline classes resumed in September, and I knew some ish stuff. In year 11, October, mock exam. 4 months before exam, I had been studying for 1.5 months. I had been watching Cambridge in 5 minutes for biology, all videos in the playlist. Ajiro Tech was a very helpful for him. I just reading through chemistry for my textbook. He was good at math. He practiced a few past papers, but still wasted a lot of time. His mock exam was in person at school, so there was no way I could cheat. He got a B in physics, biology, ICT, environmental management, A in English and second language, math and additional math. A C in chemistry, and our papers was very tough. He got the highest, really. And again, took place. The parent-teachers conference took place, and the teachers were not happy. I knew I could do better. That is doing the academic review. I could do better, as they taught me when I was an A-star student. My chemistry teacher said he will not be able to go on to do A-levels. He needs a tight slap. But I was quite happy with how I performed, considering I knew nothing 1.5 months prior to the exam. But he wasn't satisfied. He became hungry for more. Year 11 November, the break, 3 months before exam. During year 10, he watched a lot of YouTube videos on studying abroad in countries like the UK and US. He did the whole process for uni. He always knew that he wanted to do computer science at university. And then he loved it very much. He knew that he could be very good in its IGCSE for top universities. He got a spark, and in his stomach, he just knew he could do well. He grinded day and night as he knew Mock 2 was approaching. For biology, there were no time to study for my textbook, so videos on Learn to the IGCSE, Ajiro Tech, C notes, and a chain of past papers was helpful for him. For physics, Learn to the IGCSE on YouTube was helpful for him, and went through his textbook thoroughly. He gained a lot of past papers. For chemistry, Ajiro Tech came in handy. Learn to the IGCSE and his textbook were like his only friends. For ICT, Ajiro Tech was a lifesaver. For math and AdMath, the YouTube channel is not mentioned here, so he was already good, and so he was already good, so he just practiced past papers. For language, he did past papers and got reviews by his teachers. He did about 8 years worth of past papers in his subject. He was recommended on joining the Discord group, which is the IGCSE Discord group, and he went back to school in December, and teachers were shocked how fast and accurately he was answering before the toppers of their class. So he was not even a topper, but they were shocked at the pace he was going. They could not believe it. We then had Christmas holiday right before our Mock 2 January, 1 month before exam. He went to the exam and gave them smoothly. Just waited for the result. He got the result back. He got all A's with full marks. Wow. In math, he topped the grades in English. He had a D year 10, so you can imagine everyone from his teachers to parents and classmates were shocked. They were shocked that he could do so well. He then had 15 days before the exam in which he practiced 2 years worth of past papers and revised all the content. He said, shout out to Mr. Ajiro, because he was very helpful for me in putting me through in ICT and a guide to some of the subject. Everyone thought exam was going to be tough, but his exam went very smoothly. He practiced questions and revised content from videos on the YouTube channels. In fact, he watched YouTube entertainment videos during the exam due to long gaps between exams, right? To think he knew nothing 6 months before the exam. He never touched his biology textbook and still got an A star. He never touched it. I mean, the way you guys do this magic. He never touched his biology textbook because why do I have to kill myself? There's learn to the IGCSE, there's a geotech. Why do I have to go through all this? And all because of a YouTube channel. He would like to time Cambridge in 5 minutes. Or Cambridge in 5 minutes. He's currently doing right now is AS level, doing physics, chemistry, math, and hoping to go to university college in London for a degree in computer science. Okay, so he said he would recommend for mathematics, ginger mathematics. I never use this content, but I looked through and it was amazing for students who are very weak at math. The final one. No, one of my students said, no, I'm not a nerd who studies 15 hours a day. He plays football 4 times in a week. He goes to gym, game, and I'm social. It's easier than you think to get straight A's without having to do nothing but study. I'm going to break down what he did. He's going to break down what he did and what you can do to achieve the same result. Everything starts in the classroom. People would sit in class daydreaming and complaining that they can't pick up anything and are slow learners. It's difficult to stay focused in school, but either way, you have to sit in class. Wasting your time in lesson just means you're spending more time at home catching up instead of enjoying yourself. Take notes if you have to, but otherwise, I would recommend just understanding what is being said, because reading your own notes means you might miss part of the syllabus and only have one perspective. Ask questions whenever you don't totally understand something, because understanding how and why something is the way it is means you actually know it and don't just have to remember it or you forget it later on. When revising, use resources available to you online. Reading a textbook is a complete waste of time. Oh my god, I can't believe I said that. I said reading a textbook is a complete waste of time. He said he's advising you to join the Discord, the IGCSE Discord group, the Geotech Discord group, and use resources such as Save My Exam, Physics and Maths Tutor, Rove Papers, anything else you can find. If you're not physically doing it and if you're not thinking, then you're not learning. Also use YouTube channels like Learn to the IGCSE, Geotech. They are very, very helpful. It said use syllabus, whether you make flashcards, write your own revision notes, or make your own tick sheet. It's the only way to make sure you haven't missed anything and know only what is required. As someone who had lots of other commitments, time management was the most important factor and what allowed me to get the result I wanted without sacrificing everything else. With 10 subjects to juggle, choosing which to do was difficult. I studied each subject for a period of 1 to 5 days until I was satisfied with my knowledge of the content. I then did multiple timed past papers for each subject, marked them, focus on the subject where my results were below or barely above my target grades. He chose not to be spending the same amount of time on every subject. Very important. Don't spend the same amount of time on every subject. There's some subjects you probably need to spend less. There's some you need to spend more. He said, but how do you stay motivated? At the start of each, write down what you want to achieve by the end of it. For instance, he might want to do one additional math paper. He complete Seneca on these 5 physics chapters and life daily to draw poems. Be thorough in your planning. It is worth taking the time to determine how much time you can commit to studying today and how long each objective would take, so you can feel the satisfaction of completing them. Make your plans day by day, as a rigid month-long plan structure would leave you demotivated as you fall behind. I will not be able to follow the plans, which feels overwhelming. Looking at each other's result motivated me to keep working to see the dream result card on my report. Surrounding yourself with hard-working classmates is very key. Revising with my focus friends helped me massively and prevented me from draining it every day. Pushing each other to be better. Meet at a central location that provided a good atmosphere to study, such as a coffee shop or a tuition center, not your mate's house with a PlayStation waiting upstairs. Do you see that? So he was very, very careful. They don't go to each other's house where they have a PlayStation waiting upstairs, and before you know, you're playing games, right? I'm sure you're wondering how much tuition you need to do. Personally, I did. He did for physics, chemistry class, and ICT every Friday for like 3 hours. He did Milan tuition once a week closer to the exam, and some English classes in the summer. He didn't do additional math, which was his best grade. You don't need hours of tuition to get a good result. Do tuition for the subjects you're struggling with, and this is very important. You don't need to do tuition for all your subjects. Do the tuition for those you're struggling with, and for subjective subjects such as history to learn exam technique. If you can study by yourself and can stay motivated, you don't need to spend 5 hours a day in tuition. As you know, you would need to work on better than anyone else. However, if you're getting easily distracted, if you're not productive enough, tuition is a good way to make sure you're spending the necessary time studying. Short random tips he gave: go for a walk with music when you're stressed. Okay, if you can, do past papers under exam conditions with time pressure and no music. Okay, make a simulation out of it. Use your teachers. Speak to them after school if you need help with anything. Your teachers are your best resource. Go to Ajiro Tech YouTube channels, the IGCSE and Ajiro Tech Discourse server, and help people answer questions. Okay, it's a good way to understand difficult questions. The earlier you start revising, the less stress you would be. Removing distraction doesn't really work. Focus on discipline rather than blaming your lack of focus on one of the many distractions around you. Discipline is key. Have a consistent sleep. Schedule during exam. Sleeping 3 hours earlier than 9 before is worse than sleeping 6 hours at a regular schedule. Try meditating to reduce stress and improve focus. And finally, he said, keep every past papers you do in a folder and mark it clearly. A couple days before your exam, look at the mistakes you made, write down to avoid making the same mistake. Did this for my silly mistake in AdMath, and clearly it worked. He got a B on the mock and had an A star on the IGCSE. Wow. I mean, these are 3 of my outstanding students in the October-November. One took 12 subjects, had 11 A star and 1 A. The other one took 9, had 8 A star and 1 A. The other one took 10 subjects, had 8 A star and 2 A's. I mean, there's no better motivation than this. If you're not feeling motivated with all the tips I've given from your seniors who have written an exam and have produced an amazing result, then you're missing a lot. And we'll be doing this so often because most of my students will be sending how they did what they did to get the result they did, so that you can also listen and also get the results that they also got. Hope this was helpful for you. Please do want to share this with your friends so they can learn, right, and be extremely good at it. I'll see you in the next episode. As always, Education Talks is always a pleasure because, again, you're here to learn. Bye for now.